College football announced a few rule changes for the 2023 season, and they suck. All that and more on today's episode of 4th and 10. 4 college football stories in just around 10 minutes. Now, let's go for it. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. This past Friday, the NCAA Playing Rules Oversight Panel approved a rule change for the 2023 season that is going to allow the clock to run after first downs in all divisions except D3. However, it's not going to be for the entire game, as the clock will continue to stop during the final 2 minutes of each half. Here's what Steve Shaw, NCAA Secretary, Rules Editor, and Officials Coordinator, had to say about the changes. That's important because the beauty of the difference in our game, and it allows a team late in the game, even without timeouts, to have a chance to advance the ball and come back and that sort of thing. So we're still going to stop it in the last 2 minutes. The NCAA also approved 2 other rules that were proposed back in February. Teams are now going to be prohibited from calling consecutive team timeouts, and penalties at the end of the first and third quarter will carry over and be enforced on the first play of the next quarter. Currently, if there's an accepted penalty for a foul on the last time down of any quarter by either team, the officials extend it. Shaw told ESPN that the combined changes are estimated to shorten the game by 7 to 8 minutes and by 7 to 8 plays. But the changes aren't just directed at trying to shorten the game time. He said it's more about keeping the game moving while reducing the number of plays. We've got to live it to see if it really does that, or it's more or less. So it's a minimal change, and I think it's a good change directionally for the game. We looked at the number of plays, and Division 1 is averaging about 178 to 179 plays per game. All divisions are in the 170s, and you compare that to 151 plays last year per game in the NFL. It's something we need to look at. It's a conservative step, and we'll see what this does for the year. Personally, I just think all of these rule changes are stupid. I don't think anyone was asking for any of these rule changes. If they want to shave a few minutes off of a few games, I think there are different ways they could have done it. I do understand wanting a few less plays in order to prevent more injuries, but there can still be injuries on any other play. Honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if games are the same length because they found new ways to add more commercial breaks. USC added a pretty big playmaker to their defense this week as they added former Georgia defensive lineman Bear Alexander via the transfer portal. Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch were after Alexander as soon as they were able to within the rules of the transfer portal, and it didn't take long for Alexander to commit to USC. He was the number 56 prospect in the 2022 recruiting class and was the number 5 defensive tackle overall. He originally committed to Georgia out of high school, decommitted, considered Texas A&M, and then recommitted to Georgia before signing with the Bulldogs during the 2022 cycle. He entered the transfer portal when the spring transfer window opened up on April 15th and received offers from teams like Colorado, Texas, Oregon, Miami, and Penn State. This past season for Georgia, Alexander played 163 snaps as a true freshman. He recorded 9 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. I mean, it's Lincoln Riley. Just watching the production from last year, they lost 2 games. Barely lost to Utah. If Caleb Williams wasn't hurt, they would have definitely been in that. It's Lincoln Riley, and I'm excited to go play for that guy. Not to brag on myself, but everyone wants the big bear. Everyone needs a big 300-pounder that can move with the twitch, the burst, the explosion that I bring to the game. Everyone needed that as part of their defense. It wasn't an easy decision for him to leave Georgia, but after 1 season under his belt, Alexander felt it was the right fit, and it was time for him to move on to a different program where he'll earn more snaps. I feel as if there wasn't a significant amount of snaps at Georgia. I was more of a pass rush specialist in year 1, so coming into the spring, I wanted to be in a position where I could show my versatility as a player. I felt like I wasn't able to do that at Georgia. I was a 3rd down specialist, and I'm more of a 1st, 2nd down player. I can play every down. We'll head over to Iowa, where Brian Ferentz had quite the presser recently. He was asked if he has a message for the Iowa fans who are running out of patience with the offense, and here's what he had to say.
A lot of frustration is built up among the fan base. A lot of people kind of running out of patience after the last 2 years. What's your message to them?
I don't have a message to them.
You're coming off back-to-back years of really subpar offensive results. What are you doing differently this time around to avoid this same thing from happening next year?
We're going to do the same things we do. We're going to do them better, John.
Does this offense need to change significantly, philosophy and everything, or do you just have to do better what you guys have been doing for years?
Yeah. Have you ever heard that talk from me?
No. Outside. More from us.
So, look, I'm going to approach my job the same way I've approached it for the last 11 seasons. My job is to help us win football games. You know, we have a tried and true method. We know how we win. We know who we are. My job is to make sure we play to those strengths. And then on Saturdays, we're winning games, not losing them.
He was also asked about his contract being points incentive based.
24-10 against Wisconsin, 30 seconds left in the game. Will Iowa approach anything differently as far as kick a field goal, or is it, hey, we'll continue to take the knees and take the 4
That's probably a better question for the head coach.
Okay.
I'm not interested in that, and I could care less, Scott, honestly. All right? If this is my last year being the offensive coordinator at Iowa football, I'm at peace with that. And if we're beating Wisconsin 24-10 with 30 seconds left, you can bet your ass I'll be at peace with that.
Hey, maybe Iowa will turn things around this season and average something like 10 points a game. Our last piece of news is a little late, but 5-star tight end Landon Thomas made a big announcement last week as he flipped his commitment from Georgia to Florida State. Thomas is the number 48 overall prospect in the 24 class according to ESPN's rankings, and he's the number 7 recruit from the state of Georgia. Actually, this isn't even the first time he's committed to the Seminoles. He was originally committed to Florida State in April of 2021, but he decommitted that October after receiving an offer from Georgia. He continued to take more scholarship offers, then committed to Georgia in July of 2022. He had been committed to the Bulldogs since July, but recently took a visit to Florida State and now has flipped back to the Seminoles. Thomas gives Florida State 5 ESPN 300 commitments for the 24 cycle. Quietly this offseason, Florida State has been killing it in the recruiting game and with the transfer portal, and Mike Norvell really has this program turning things around and potentially going to be an ACC contender as early as this season. Well, that wraps it up for today's episode of 4th and 10. What are your thoughts on the new changes in college football? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.